welcome back to the channel. So I'm standing here in front of a table full of parts for the GX470. I've got a bunch of maintenance parts that I ordered for the timing service, the oil seals, and a bunch of other things I'm doing to this car just because it's leaking oil. It's got 120,000 miles on it. I don't think the timing belt or any of the water pump stuff has ever been changed. So I went ahead and ordered all this stuff so I could change it all out. Plus right now the GX has got this bad oil leak on top that leaves drips all over my driveway and everywhere I park. I don't know where it's coming from. I suspect it's coming from the valve cover. It could be coming from the oil filter. It could be coming from multiple places. So I went ahead and ordered all the parts just to seal up everything in case I run into it once I get into there to do the timing belt service. So today we'll go over all the parts you need and some of these parts you may not need if you're not experiencing any of these problems. I've been collecting all these parts for the last month or so when I got this car to do all the service on it from a Toyota dealer that was having a 25% off sale. In addition, I ordered a bunch of parts from Japan that were actually cheaper in Japan even with shipping versus the US version of it. On the stuff I ordered from Amayama, some of it shipped from Japan, some of it shipped from the UAE, and I'll go over each and every part that I got here and I'll explain why I selected it, why you need it, and what your other options are if you want to go OEM and everything. So this first part I ordered was the water pump. I got this from Fred Anderson Toyota in Raleigh, North Carolina. Shipped to my door. It was probably like $100 or $110 with their 25% off sale. The reason why I went with this versus the Eisen one from Rock Auto or from Amazon was that I knew this was a guaranteed OEM part. It came with the bolts right here and it came with the O-rings. I believe the aftermarket ones come with the O-rings also. You know, you get it in a Toyota box versus a Eisen box. So after doing a bunch of research, the first thing I saw when I saw made in the USA, I was wondering if it was the exact same Eisen that I saw in the kits. And once I got in here, I noticed there is no stamping for Toyota or Eisen on this. In the past, the Eisen label was in here, and then there was a Toyota right here in this spot. It's no longer on this casting. So I don't know if Eisen still makes it for Toyota since it's been moved to the US, or they just changed castings and they don't have that on here anymore. But if you buy the Rock Auto Eisen ones, at least the older stock, it's going to say Eisen right here that's branded into the casting, and then they're going to have an Eisen sticker over here where the Toyota has been shaved off. The only thing that I saw in here that's anything remotely shaved in or stamped in is this number right here. I assume this is the production number and the year it was made, in addition to these two dials and this number 6, which is probably like the casting number or the mold number that this came off of. As far as quality goes, I noticed there's a bunch of little boogers here. There's some stuff there. And I was reading people's comments on the forums, and a lot of them on the inside, their version of this had like shavings and stuff kind of hanging off the molding. Over here, you can see a slight lip on that edge. You can see the stamp on the inside here. It says 4CK on the inside, but definitely not the quality I was expecting from Eisen in the past, from the Japan-made ones. Even on, like, you see the edges and all the shaving and the molding and all that stuff. It's really suspect in my opinion compared to the Japanese versions of these. So you can see like right here, you know, where they finished it off, or there's any kind of final molding or final machining they did. You can still see it on here. I believe on the Japanese Eisen ones that are stamped, none of this stuff was really visible in the past. And even on the inside here, the impeller, looks like everything's good here. Nothing's broken from shipping. I know I've seen in the past where the Eisen ones that came from Rock Auto or from Amazon or from somewhere else aftermarket, these things will break during shipping and people ended up having to get it replaced, or they realized it last minute and they stopped their install or stalled their install trying to get a replacement. But it comes with a metal gasket. I assume this is an OEM quality and everything's good with this one. And then one of the theories that online, I posted this on the forums and on Facebook, in the groups for the GX was they suspect that, you know, since this thing is used on almost all the V8 motors from the 4.7, the 4.6, the 4.3, even I think the 4.0 up to the 5.7, that a lot of that is being made in the US now, especially the trucks. So they probably started making these in the US just to comply and to make more stuff domestically, so that way they can get all the tax credits and all that crap that they get from the government. But definitely I would have rather have a Japanese made water pump. At least I know over there their quality control is much better than the US one. As far as functionality and reliability, we're just gonna have to figure out if this thing makes it another 120, 150,000 miles, that'll be great. There are rumors of the GX engine with these things running over 300,000 or 400,000 miles with no issues, with people that never changed them until they actually had an issue with leaks or with the bearings. So the next part I ordered from the dealer was this timing belt, which again is a US made one right here. And even if you wanted the ones that were originally made in Japan, all these numbers right now have been superseded with these numbers right here. So even if you got them a Japanese specific number, they can't even get it here in the US. Someone told me the numbers that begin with a 09 are definitely made in the US. I've seen other parts that are made in the US that use a different numbering. I've seen 02s and 03s also made in the US, so I'm not sure how you can decipher the part number and where it was made. But one thing I noticed with this one, it is made by Mitsubishi, I believe, because everything shows it, even the stamps on here, like the triangle and all that. It's got the Toyota part number on it, and that's an actual different part number than the one shown on the bag or in the ordering. It's the 0F010. Do not crimp. All the rest of this is markings that you're gonna find on Mitsubishi anyways, along with this one right here. The one thing I noticed with these US made ones where it says cam, that stuff looks very suspect. It's very dull, it's not straight, versus the ones I've seen in the past that were actually made in Japan, or even the ones that are made for Mitsubishi branded ones. They also look much better than this, and you can actually see it much clearer. But these, yeah, they look very suspect. But as far as quality goes, everything looks good. It looks OEM quality. The stitch or whatnot that you're gonna find in there looks good too. So there's no issues as far as I can see with quality. I just noticed that the markings and everything are a little bit different and probably not as good as the ones made in Japan. I went ahead and picked up a new tube of 103 form in place gasket. This is for the oil valve covers, for oil pans and all that. I used up all my old one for the oil pan on the IS300, plus on my golf cart and some other stuff I was doing, so I needed a new roll. I still have some of the orange stuff used for transmissions and gears and all that. That's for my other projects, but I just needed this, so I picked that up from the dealer. This is another belt that you're gonna need for your timing service. It's more of a preventive maintenance belt. You could wait until the one on there fails or shows much more signs of wear, because you could change this pretty easily without taking things apart. But this one's a Bando. It's Toyota branded. It's a 6PK2240, I believe. I've seen it in the 2230. I'm not sure what the difference is, but this is the one that was specific for this model engine and this car, so I went ahead and ordered from the dealer. But this one's again made in Japan, so we don't have to worry about this one. So the next thing I ordered for my thing was getting this thermostat right here that you're gonna have to change out once you do the timing belt and the water pump. This thing is from the dealer. That's the part number. It's made by Kuze. That's the manufacturer right there. This is also branded as Toyota. 82C is the temperature rating on this. Every time you order a thermostat from the dealer, you also have to remember to order the O-ring or the rubber seal here. This is a bulk item. They throw it in a bag for you and ship it. Usually if you buy this aftermarket or even Eisen, it might come with this already. And the Eisen one might also be made by the same manufacturer. I've never used it. I've always used the OEM thermostat, so I'm not sure, but that could be a possibility that it's the exact same one without the Toyota on it. So for this project, project, I ended up just picking up new OEM radiator hoses also. So again, this is more a preventive maintenance item. As I'm already draining all the coolant and everything, I might as well change these out. You could definitely punt these until they're actually damaged, but you don't want to run the risk of ever getting a pinhole or something in here and leaking, and then you got to change all your fluid anyways to change this out. So I went ahead and picked these up from the dealer. I paid maybe like $15, $20 or whatever each for these, or less. They're actually cheaper when I ordered these on sale than it is to even buy aftermarket with these things. So I went ahead and just bought the OEM. I've tried aftermarket hoses in the past, and one of the things that sucks with aftermarket hoses, even though most of it fits, you still have to trim it because it's made for multiple vehicles. So sometimes they'll make it longer on either end. You got to trim it to fit your vehicle. This one already has all the alignment marks for you on all the ends, so you match those up with the marks and the notches on the vehicle, and it fits perfectly. Everything's no cutting, no dealing with that stuff, so that's perfectly fine with me. Even if I spend a couple more dollars to get these, I'd rather have that without dealing with the cutting and fitting it into the vehicle. So the next items you're going to need for the timing belt service specifically, at minimum, you're going to need the tensioner, you're going to need the idler pulley, and you're going to need the tensioner pulley on this side. So all these parts right here I actually ordered from Japan and the UAE from Amayama, because when I looked up these part numbers, OEM, these things are ridiculously priced. This thing's like 60 bucks right here. These two items are really crazy. The part number has actually been superseded by an American-made one, or one that has an A in it, or a 1A or something in it. So I'm not sure what they changed, but it's definitely expensive as hell. I think these things were like $120 or $130. I was definitely not gonna order the current version of these, so I actually looked up the part number that they used to supply with this, and I ordered these from Japan. I think these things all together right here would have been $60 or $70 total right here, versus over $200 if I try to order it from the US dealer. And with this one, it's made by NTN. So this thing, a lot of times when you order that icing kit, it comes with the exact same NTN one, so you don't have to worry about this one being fake or being any other model or manufacturer. Generally, all Toyotas use this NTN brand right here for their hydraulic tensioner. Over here for the idler pulley, like I said, the US one is expensive as hell right now for no reason. This one might have been like $20 or something, I believe. But it's made by Koyo as far as the brand and the manufacturer of the bearing. So that's definitely an OEM one that you see very often. I think these days Toyota also uses NSK for this one also. So maybe that's the change for the US one, but it's definitely like 2 or 3 times more expensive ordering it from the dealer in the US. On this one, again, it was similarly priced to this one, where it was like 40 or 50 bucks or more from the US, but I got it for like 20 something dollars, I believe, from Japan. This one is an NSK, you can see right there. But overall, everything looks OEM. The casting and everything looks good. So I'm not worried about this as far as the bearing and the casting goes. Everything looks legit on this one. But most likely, if you order the Ison one, you're gonna get these same parts right here. This is definitely gonna be a Koyo. This one is probably a Koyo versus an NSK if you get it from the Ison kit, but overall they're both the same quality. They make a lot of OEM bearings for all the Japanese manufacturers, so it's not something you have to worry about as far as quality goes. So right here we got a few optional items that you may not want to try, especially if you don't see any signs of leaks, especially on a 120,000 mile motor. I'm not sure where the leaks are coming from for my vehicle, so I'm gonna go ahead and just have these ready to take apart the cam, to change out the cam gear one up here. This one's a big pain in the ass for the new GXs with the VVTI. You actually have to take out your cam, you have to actually pull apart the VVTI cam off the cam and get these seals in there and then put it all back together. It's a big pain in the ass, it's a lot of work, but I'm gonna inspect it. If I see any signs of leaks coming from these seals, I'm gonna go ahead and just change it while I'm in there. In addition, the front main seal could be another culprit for the leak too. I'm gonna go ahead and change that out. This thing is gonna be on the front. We're taking all that apart anyways when we do the timing belt and all that. So I wanna be able to have this available to do that. So these are all OEM parts. These right here are actually tagged with the Toyota label. This one, again, ordering from Amayama, they go directly to the manufacturer. In this case, it's NOK, and they get the same exact seal with this label on it, but it's OEM part in a different bag right there. So what I'm suspecting my oil leak is coming from, and hopefully it's the case, it's the valve covers. That seems like where all the fresh oil is dripping down after I cleaned everything off. It's dripping down the little drip tray that's right above the headers. So here I've got both gaskets for the valve covers on both sides. I went ahead and ordered all the new bolt gaskets right here. There's 18 of them on there. There's 9 on each side. This is the part number. So I'm going to go ahead and change those out once I take all the bolts out. In addition, I'm going to change the spark plug holes right here. So I ordered actually 8 of these, but they came in a 10 pack and took 2 out. But these are the OEM plugs right there for that. These are kind of a pain in the ass to take out. Once you have the valve covers off, you actually have to bend the tab, get the old one out, put this back in, and then hammer or bend that tab back. So it's not as easy as popping them off and on. You have to do some real work on the back side of that valve cover to get these on. Since I have that valve cover off, I'm gonna go ahead and change the PCV valve right here. This thing is a $5 part. Again, it's a preventive maintenance part. Very easy to change out once you have everything apart. You just unscrew the old one, put the new one on, and that's good. Again, this one is one of those items people ignore, but usually after a couple 100,000 miles, the inside ball kind of freezes up. It doesn't work well anymore, so you could hear this one when you shake it. You could hear the ball inside moving up and down. Since I was in there doing all that anyways, I went ahead and ordered new spark plugs. These are iridium spark plugs, the SK20R11s for the GX. I ordered from the dealer just because these are on sale. They were actually cheaper than buying it from Auto Parts or from Rock Auto. With the shipping and tax to my door, these were tax-free, shipped to my door for free. I paid probably like 10 or 11 bucks each for these, which going down to Advanced Auto Parts or anywhere else in town, they're like $15 to $18 a piece already. And then ordering from Rock Auto doesn't save any money either. So if you saw one of my videos in the past for my Avalon and my Sienna, I actually ordered some of these from the dealer one time, and I got a set of fakes. So now I'm very cautious about where I order these from, and even when I get them, I always inspect them just to make sure everything matches, everything looks good. One of the things I noticed with these ones, these are actually labeled as made in the USA with foreign parts. Once you get inside, you'll see all of that around here printed on here versus the regular Denso and Japan that they used to come with when they're made in Japan. But you always want to inspect that. You want to inspect these numbers on here, make sure everything looks good. Look at the print on here, make sure that looks quality, the tip, and then just looking at the iridium itself on the edge of these, you want to look deeply into there, make sure you see that purplish color, that iridium color in there, just to confirm that these aren't counterfeit or fake. But that one time when I got those fake ones, luckily I ordered a set of real ones a couple months after that, and I compared the two before I put them in, and they looked very suspect. I ended up telling that dealer what happened, showing them all the photos, and they just shipped me a new set. I suspect that someone either in the supply chain or the warehouse swapped them out with the fake ones at some point along the shipment, and that's how they ended up with that stock in their inventory. It was also during 2022 when there was a huge shortage of parts globally, so maybe somehow someone conned them or hustled them and got them to buy some fake parts. Another way to always check too is to verify the gap on here. For Toyota, it's 042. So most likely, if every one of the ones you get is 042 as far as the gap goes, then they're most likely real and not counterfeit. Those counterfeit ones I had anywhere from 038 all the way to 050, which was definitely suspect across 6 different plugs in the same batch. While I was ordering all my stuff from Amayama, I ended up ordering new plugs just in case I break anything while I'm doing the valve cover stuff, unplugging old sensors. So I went ahead and ordered like cam position sensors, I ordered an EGR, I ordered a cam sensor plug here. I've got a bunch more of these. I'm just showing you some examples here. I got new ignition coil plugs. These things will definitely break on you on anytime you change those out or unplug those things, because this clip right here becomes very brittle after 15 or 16 years on the vehicle and getting heated up all the time. So I always expect these things to break when I take those apart. So I always have a bunch of these laying around to swap them out when they break. As far as the part numbers for these, as you can tell, all the plug part numbers begin with a 90980 over here. The last 5 digits are going to be different. And one of the things that you want to know is those last 5 digits are always printed on the back of these. If you look up close, you'll see those numbers and all of these things, and that's how you know the part number. So if you ever break one of these or you need a connector and you want to order an OEM one, you can just go look on the back of these connectors and see the molding and look up that part number, just add them all together, and then you could order these from the dealer. You could also order aftermarket version of these. I've ordered plenty of aftermarket ones that are just as good quality for cheaper, and they came with the pins and it came with the wires and everything too, so you could try that route. But these, I usually pay $1 to $3 each for these, so they're very affordable ordering them from Amayama. If you had to go down to your local dealer, these things might cost you an arm and a leg. So the last item that might be leaking oil, especially around the AC compressor and the oil filter, is the gaskets for the actual oil cooler. So I went ahead and ordered all 3 gaskets that might leak from there. I actually ordered 2 in case. I have a spare for my other vehicles that use basically the same part. So I went ahead and ordered this washer right here. This thing goes right into the center bolt that keeps the oil cooler onto the block. So I went ahead and ordered that part. That's a Denso part, as you can see, as well as this one. This one's a Denso part. So this is the actual oil cooler to the block right here. That's the O-ring for that one. This thing is a culprit for leaks over time, just because it ends up getting flattened out from all the heat, and then the oil starts seeping through that and leaking all over the place. So that's an easy one to swap out. Once you have the coolant and everything drained from the vehicle and you have the filter off, you could go ahead and just swap that out. This thing is the figure 8 one. This one's a little bit higher up on the oil cooler, but this thing is the mating surface into the block with a little spout coming out. So you want to replace one of these. So again, I ordered 2 of these in case, but you only need 1. So this one also gets flattened out also. So that's an easy change once we have everything taken apart during the timing belt. So overall, these were all the parts just to do the major maintenance for the water pump, the seals, the oil leaks, the valve covers and everything. Once you're already in there, I'll go ahead and post all the part numbers down in the description box, as well as links or prices to where I got everything. So that way, if you guys are trying to source all the same stuff, then you can try to get the same price. Or you can just go the easy route and get an Ison one and hope for the best that they provide you with all the OEM parts and also the OEM water pump and everything that's in good quality. Hey guys, thanks for joining me all the way to the end of this video with me talking about all these parts and showing you all the parts you need for the GX470 maintenance. As you can see, you could definitely get all OEM parts for pretty reasonable price if you shop around and know where to buy and look and kind of do your research. Luckily, I've done all the research for you so you can make an informed decision and decide what you want to pay for or what you want to buy as far as parts. If you want to go the simple route and go with the Ison kit that comes with most of the parts you got here, you're going to spend about $200 plus tax and shipping, which over here I ended up building basically the same kit for not much more, where I can guarantee that it was all OEM parts from the dealer or from Toyota. If you guys found this video useful, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to your channel, go ahead and subscribe to your channel, turn on bell notifications to get notified every time I upload a video. Remember, for all these different projects, if I can do it, you guys can do it. I want to thank you for watching and join me on the future video where I actually put all these parts into the vehicle, and I'll show you the detailed videos of me getting that into that car, so that way we could do all the maintenance and stop the oil leaks on this vehicle. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.